Hey everyone, welcome to this new video where we're going to explore how to transform AI into your around-the-clock assistant, essentially making a better version of AutoGPT for content creators, taking over a lot of the boring, tedious, and repetitive tasks that come with a content business. I'll also show you some examples of workflows that we use in our own business that you can easily replicate for yourself. And the best part is what I'm going to be showing you today can be done by everyone. It doesn't require any tech skills. It's really easy to do. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Gael. I'm one of the co-founders of Authority Hacker, and together with my co-founder Mark, we've guided over 12,000 students in creating successful online businesses through authority sites. And we try to share the most efficient content creation, SEO, and monetization strategies. So if you want to make sure you don't miss any future tutorial, case study, or tactic, make sure you subscribe and click on the notification bell. So we've been promised an AI revolution for the past few months, and we've got amazing tools like ChatGPT and stuff, but they're really stuck in their own sandbox. And despite the recent addition of plugins inside ChatGPT+, it demands quite a bit of legwork to achieve anything tangible with AI today. You have to head to the ChatGPT website, write the right prompt, copy and paste the useful information into the prompt, watch it write, often regenerate the result, then copy the result and paste it wherever you want it, and it doesn't quite live up to the expectation I had about AI making my life easier. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some tools starting to come out that are starting to feel like magic, like BrandSnap that we released a few weeks ago that allows you to find your perfect domain name in seconds without switching websites. You can check it out in the card above. But the problem is that every time a good tool pops up, everyone quickly adopts it and it just becomes the new normal. There is no opportunity for you to generate a competitive advantage from these. So the question is, how do you harness the newly found power of AI if you don't have a full stack dev team ready to build any custom tool that you can think of when you say it? And that's exactly what I'm going to be showing you in this video. And now is the perfect moment to introduce Zapier and Make.com. These are API connector tools that connect thousands of tools together that don't have native integration. So for example, when there's a new post on our Authority Hacker Pro group, Zapier takes it and shares it automatically on Slack so that we can stay on top of our community without having to browse Facebook and waste a lot of time all day. But the exciting part is that now these tools connect with the OpenAI API and allow you to use GPT 3.5 and 4 to interact with everyday apps. And this allows you to do very smart things that I'm about to show you that trigger based on set conditions so you don't have to do anything. Let me show you how this works with a personal example. Recently, Mark made me read the book Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell, and one of the points in the book was to hire a personal assistant to handle your calendar and your email so you don't have to deal with your inbox on your own and you save a bunch of time. Basically, your personal assistant gets rid of time wasters, qualifies the people that might be interesting to work with, and schedules a call with you when they're good enough. Now, I'm a bit of a cheaper, so I didn't want to pay someone to do this, but I thought I could try to get GPT-4 to do that job. And to be honest, it did a lot better than I expected. Once you have the setup that I'm about to show you, AI automatically reads your emails, gets rid of time wasters, qualifies people, and schedules calls with you when they're good opportunities. Every morning when I open my inbox, every single email I received in my priority inbox in Gmail has a pre-written answer by AI that I can quickly check and quickly send in one click. There's no need to prompt, there's no need to think about it, it's all done, and I don't have to open and copy paste everywhere to get this done. And here's exactly how I set this up. So Zapier triggers this automation every time an important email hits my inbox, so it doesn't reply to newsletters or bills or automated emails, only the people who actually email me. Then the content of that email is sent to GPT-4 with a copious system prompt that makes the AI impersonate my personal assistant, Arthur Irvine, and gives it a bunch of information like its main objective to protect my time, the instructions to qualify opportunity, the instruction to move things forward and not chit-chat, the instruction to book calls with me if the lead is relevant, a list of things that we are interested in and not interested in, and a list of actions it can take on the email like archive it, spam it, favorite it, forward it to our support, as well as a list of resources to take action like book a call link with me so AI can just send a link and people book the call when they want, a face shot photo of me if I'm doing podcast interviews, and some background about the company so it really understands what we're about and what we're looking to achieve here. Then with this much information in the system prompt, the main prompt is actually very short. It just tells it to reply to the email concisely and not include a subject line because sometimes it did it. And based on the output of the AI, Zapier actually takes the action the AI wanted. So if the AI says action archive, the email is archived. If the AI says action forward, it forwards the email to the right email, and so on with all the list of the actions the AI can take on the email. And now let me show you a real life example of how this played out in our business and what happened. So the other yesterday, I got looped into an email chain that happened between our link building team and Empire Flippers, one of the biggest website marketplaces on the market. They were essentially talking about doing a podcast swap, so inviting each other in each other's podcast. The AI read the thread, understood the stakeholders, and moved the path forward, addressing them directly. And judging by the responses of Lauren and Justin, they didn't see anything and interacted as if it was my real personal assistant. And the AI kept going back and forth with them until the podcast was booked, and I just had to click on the link and pick the date myself because AI could not do that, but everything else was handled by the assistant on autopilot, and I ended up being on one of the biggest online marketing podcasts in the industry thanks to the assistant. And on the last email, they asked me if I can promote the podcast, so if you want to check it out, click on the card above and you'll see the podcast I did that was booked by AI for me. Now, this concept is really cool. It's really nice to see that AI was able to book me on a popular podcast, but I know not all of you guys are doing interviews or feel like you need a personal assistant, but that's okay because we applied the same system to the link building inbox inside our company. And this works even better because link building emails are quite predictable and it's quite easy to steer AI towards doing exactly what you want with these kind of exchanges. So when a new email hits our link building inbox, the content is sent to GPT-4 with a system prompt that gives it its general goal, which is landing high quality links from legitimate sites. Then the main prompt describes the many situations the agent may be encountering and what they should do in that case. So if they get a bounced email, for example, they don't need to reply. If they get a guest post request, well, we'll tell them we don't do that, but we're looking for three-way link exchanges instead, etc. for all the situations that we could identify that would be useful for the agent. Then the response from the AI is taken and added as a draft into Gmail so that when the link building team comes in the morning, they can just open that inbox and every single message in the main inbox has a draft that is ready to send or lightly edit if they choose to, and that saves them a bunch of time that they can focus on finding better link prospects or negotiating higher end deals. Now, the system is not perfect, and quite often towards the end of the relationship when we negotiate the specifics of a placement, it's not as useful, but still it saves a ton of time if you're doing things like mass prospecting, shotgun or sniper outreach. That's going to save you hours per week on autopilot. Now, another thing that can be tedious when you run a content business is publishing social updates whenever you publish new content. You know you should do it, but at the same time, it doesn't drive nearly as much traffic as Google does, so usually you skip it because you're tired after you published a new piece, but you also know you should do it if you want to grow on social, and then Google updates come, they wipe a bunch of your traffic, and you regret you didn't do it. Thankfully, with AI and Zapier, you can now draft all your social posts without having to think about it. So this is the Zap I've built to share our podcast episodes. It triggers when we publish a new podcast post type on our website, then the Zapier web parser goes on the page, grabs the show notes, feeds it to GPT-4 with a system prompt that makes it impersonate a social media manager, gives it the background about the company, our audience, the tone of voice, and some editorial guidelines. Then the main prompt instructs it to read the show notes and come up with 5 angles of social posts to promote the podcast, and it gets a bunch of instructions in terms of length, angle, hooks, format, etc. The output is then directly uploaded to buffer.com, which is our social sharing tool of choice. And as soon as we post a new podcast, automatically without thinking about it, within 2 or 3 minutes, there is an idea queued in Buffer with 5 different social post angles that we can quickly review, select the social platforms, and one-click add to the social sharing queue. This is a lot less clunky than if you were using ChatGPT or any other AI tool. It feels seamless. And these are the posts that were generated for the one-click AI article generators podcast. If you look at them, they're pretty decent, they're quite engaging, but they still need a little bit of editing, which is why we queue them as ideas and don't post them directly. Number 4 is quite out of work, but that's why we're making 5 versions. We choose the best one and then we just queue it to our social platforms, easy peasy. So now the total work for sharing on all platforms with a decent post went from like an hour and a half to about 5 minutes. And you can keep going with this and pre-automate most of your tasks. For example, this Zap scans for new blog posts on our blog that we flagged as newsletter on Notion, and when it triggers, the web parser catches the page content, we formats it from HTML to Markdown, then feeds it to GPT-4 that again has a system prompt that routes it into its role of a newsletter copywriter, and a prompt that tells it how to write a newsletter and gives the blog post as context so it makes it relevant. The output is then added to the newsletter database on Notion, and the human owner gets a notification so they can quickly review it, edit it, and queue it in the newsletter system. This is a newsletter that was generated for an SEO blog post that we recently published for the keyword, should I start a blog? If you check the newsletter copy out of the box, there is very little to edit. I think it did a really good job. And I really like that it used the PS as a call to action to our lead magnet to our course so that that it actually monetized that newsletter for me. If your blog posts are really long, it's not really a problem anymore because OpenAI just released a 16,000 token version of GPT 3.5, which will allow you to summarize them, then feed the summary to GPT-4 so that you can write a good newsletter. So summarization of long content is solved at this point. So I think you get the idea at this point. Using ChatGPT for work is cool, but it's inefficient. Building these kind of automations will save you tons of time and make AI interact with all the apps that you're using every day and seamlessly do the work without you having to copy, paste, and do a bunch of busy work all the time. But there's still one thing that we can use ChatGPT for, and that's actually building the Zaps. That's right, if you have access to ChatGPT Plus, they actually added a Zapier plugin, so you can now describe exactly what you're looking to build to ChatGPT, and it builds the skeleton of the Zap for you, so you don't have to know which app to connect to achieve what. So for example, if I post this prompt, when my competitor posts a video on YouTube, transcribe it, then split it into small text chunks of maximum 1,000 words each, use ChatGPT 3.5 to summarize each chunk, then use all the summaries as context to create an article on the topic of the video with ChatGPT 4 integration, then upload the answer as a new draft to my WordPress site. And look at the result, you have the base of a Zap that will achieve exactly that, and you can quickly take any YouTube channel and create content based on that. You will need to tweak it, you will need to add your integrations, but that still saves a lot of time if you want to build your Zaps, and most importantly, if you don't know all the apps on Zapier. So I hope this video gave you a bunch of ideas on how to automate a bunch of your business now using cheap AI API calls and tools like Zapier or Make.com. I'd actually love to hear the ideas that you have that we should all automate as publishers in the comment section below. So let me know and maybe I'll make a follow-up video with the best ideas. The best part of this is you get to build tools that are not public. So you build your own competitive advantage by automating parts of your business that can be automated and focusing on the parts that add value that AI cannot do. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. These take a long time to make, so that would really help us. And if you're an AH Pro member, I've added all the templates that I've mentioned today inside the AH Pro template library. So go ahead and download them, connect your APIs, and you should be able to use all of them immediately without having to build anything. If you're not an AH Pro member, I still wanted to do something for you. So I did a link to the newsletters app that you can just copy into your account without having to rebuild it yourself, including all the AI prompts and everything you need. You'll just need to enter your email and we'll send you a link to the Zap in your inbox. And if you want to build the other ones, just follow the steps I showed in the video. It's not that difficult. All right, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.